What's good, YouTube? It's Nas and we back with another video. Road to nothing, I guess. Let's just keep going. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Peyton Watson. And I think at this point, I'm a little bit late to this, but Peyton Watson was signed and traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we have to talk about this because when you're looking at this from a Denver Nuggets perspective, right? I'm looking at it like, why? And it's a reasonable explanation. The Nuggets didn't have the type of money to pay Peyton Watson when he ultimately worked and earned for when he was healthy this season. And when you look at the deeper issue to this, it's Christian Braun's contract, because Christian Braun before the season was paid $125 million after obviously a decent season the prior year and then a fully disappointing season this past season, and now you lose out on your 23-year-old wing defender who seems to get better on the offensive end every single season. So you can not ignore the loss of Peyton Watson without obviously talking about it. But at the same time, I'm not going to overrate Peyton Watson either, because when you look at the Nuggets at this point, right, there was no way at this point where the Nuggets are structured or how they're structured right now, Peyton Watson would be an eventual starter on this team. It's just not possible. And obviously going to another team and another opportunity, Peyton Watson is a filler starter. He's just going to be plugged in. And for the Cavs, this is, I guess, taking a flyer on a 23-year-old who keeps getting better, I guess, and for a position of needed, because I wouldn't trust Max Strus running my small forward position at the same time, because I do think Max Strus is a shooting guard at the end of the day, and I do think Max Strus for depth purposes will make the Nuggets a little bit better at the three-point end. But on the defensive end, Max Strus is non-existent, and we're not gonna make this seem like Max Strus plays defense. Yes, he tries to, but no, he's not a better defender than Peyton Watson, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because this past playoff run, right? How did the Nuggets lose this series to the Minnesota Timberwolves? They were completely embarrassed on the defensive end. They were going to the rim whenever they fucking wanted, and they were taking threes whenever they wanted. And when you look at Denver and you look at the Western Conference right now and how they're building up, how can you not say the Nuggets got worse? And why are we not talking about it? Like, I feel like we're discussing every team that got worse, who even did moves, but the Nuggets didn't even attempt to do any of that. They were basically planning on running it back and trying to find a way to bring Peyton Watson back, but you didn't have the money to even eventually bring him back, so you couldn't even do that. So at this point, how do we feel about the Denver Nuggets at this point? And where do we rank them? Because that's the question I've been building up to, and that's what I've been thinking about over the last couple hours when I'm brainstorming what to talk about on this video. When I'm trying to record this 5 different times, like I'm in each segment that I did, I'm just wondering, how do the Nuggets compete next season? Yes, I know you have Nikola Jokic. There's no ignoring him whatsoever. But you can't ignore the fact that you didn't get better. You got worse. You didn't stay the same. You got worse. And a Western Conference that continues to load up and continues to get better, it's just not happening for Denver. And when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers side of things, right? And when you're taking a flyer on a guy that consistently gets better, and when you look at his stats, his rookie season, 3 points, his second year, 6.5 points, his third season, 8 points, and then this following season, he averaged 14.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 41% from the three. And that's what you're going to need if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, because you're losing shooting in Max Strus. You're losing shooting in Dean Wade a little bit, but bringing in Peyton Watson can give you an athletic rim runner that James Harden will feast off of, because James Harden is a pure playmaker in today's NBA. And I'm looking forward to seeing Peyton Watson in a situation where he will start and get to blossom out, because I did think at some points of last season when Nikola Jokic was down with his injury, Peyton Watson looked like the best player on the Nuggets, and there's no sugarcoating that. When Cam Johnson was struggling and Peyton Watson had to step up and play that shooting guard position when Christian Braun was out, Peyton Watson stepped up, and I do think it will be less of a role, yes, but if Peyton Watson can prove himself on the offensive end like he did at some points during last season, how do you not say the Cavs got better? They are coming off a conference finals appearance in which I did think something had to change, and it looked like nothing was going to change, but you go into this offseason and you go get an upgrade at the small forward position. Yes, you lose out on your franchise great LeBron James, and yes, you have to figure out the small forward position, yes, but you're going for Jonathan Kuminga and Peyton Watson, and you end up with, in my opinion, the better player at this certain point in time. But when you look at obviously the roster that the Cavs have and what they're going to have to compete with in the Eastern Conference, I do think this is a step in the right direction, and how Evan Mobley plays next season will determine that, because I said this in my Donovan Mitchell video. That's why I'm trying not to stay too clear of the Cavs, because I really just talked about that. But you look at their roster: Harden, Mitchell, Mobley, Jared Allen, Sam Merrill, Peyton Watson now, Jalen Tyson, Mario Hezonja, Thomas Bryant, Malik Thomas, Tyrese Proctor. Like, they have a decent, and not even decent, they have a great roster in the Eastern Conference, so they can't be ignored either. But now let's get back to Denver, because this was their move, and this is going to be signified on their move because you're giving up on a 23-year-old player. And I wouldn't even say giving up, because there was no possible way you could bring him back. Like I said in the first couple minutes of the video, you didn't have enough money, and what you were trying to sign him for was way less than his pay grade and way less than he obviously deserved after the season. And when you look at how the Nuggets missed him last season, I think it was proven. Like, they missed his perimeter defense against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They missed his intensity, because let me just not sugarcoat it, excuse my language, they look like bitches. Like, you can't really say too much about that. And Peyton Watson obviously is not an all-star level player, yes, but he is a premier wing in this NBA right now. And I do think it's hard to not ignore that when you know at this point in 2026, I feel like basketball or NBA in general is a wings league. And if you can get a starting caliber wing and you have him off your bench, I do think the depth in that department would be great for the Denver Nuggets, because I did think at some points Peyton Watson was better than Cam Johnson during the season, and Cam Johnson is a player who you traded your starting small forward, mind you, Michael Porter Jr., who averaged above 23 points per game, mind you, even though he was on the Brooklyn Nets. So I guess, but when you look at the Nuggets roster, right, their depth just went to a shithole. I think there's no way there's no possible way, let me say this, no possible way other than to call it not a shithole, because Nikola Jokic, obviously, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown coming off a disappointing season, Cam Johnson, Spencer Jones, who you got to get to a contract extension, I guess, Marvin Bagley, who you're getting to replace Jonas Valanciunas, Trayvon Brazell, your rookie, Julian Strother, hopefully you could get a big bench season off of him, because he didn't prove that last season. You got rid of Westbrook and nothing really happened. Zeke Naji, who you've been believing on for seasons now, Day'Ron Holmes, I guess, David Roddy, like KJ Simpson, Tyus Jones, Lonnie Walker, who's got a contract deal. This team isn't set up in the depth department. Yes, the starting five is there, and maybe six man is there, but obviously, I forgot to say Max Strus, because he was obviously just traded there. But y'all can't honestly tell me that y'all believe that this Nuggets team is a top 4 team in the Western Conference right now. I'm so sorry. Yes, they're going to be plugged in because of Nikola Jokic and him being a 3-time MVP, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be fair, because we're criticizing all these teams for making these explosive moves. I see a lot of people getting on the Timberwolves' ass for trading for LaMelo, and he's an all-star player, and the Denver Nuggets just got eliminated by them, and they're still expected to be better than the Timberwolves. Like, it's just not making sense to me in this department. And when you look at next season and how this is possibly going to go for Denver, and I do think we know that Jokic isn't leaving Denver no matter what, but if this was a discussion, I do think it would have to be talked about. But when you look at this sign and trade for Denver, I do think at some point you had to realize that you were not going to re-sign Peyton Watson. And that's when you moved on to the sign and trade. But when you look at this from a Cavs department, this was a no-brainer. You needed a small forward. You needed an upgrade at the position. You just got swept in the conference finals. Why not take a swing on a 23-year-old player who continues to get better on the offensive end and obviously has that defense since he came into the league? So it should be interesting for the Cavs, and it should be interesting to see this new start for Peyton Watson. But I do think we have to talk about the disappointing Nuggets throughout this offseason because they really haven't done jack shit and nobody's really talking about it. But I want to know, how do y'all feel about the Peyton Watson sign and trade? And y'all let me know how y'all feel about the Cavs and the Nuggets separately. How do y'all feel about their rosters right now? Because it's really hard for me to believe in the Nuggets. The Cavs, yes, they got me believing a little bit because I'm a little bit of a fan of Peyton Watson. But y'all let me know down below. Subscribe. What's good, y'all? If y'all made it to the end of this video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And my last video is on your screen, and the channel icon's on your screen too. So click one of them if you want to continue watching my videos. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It helps the algorithm push me out. And I appreciate y'all for watching this video nonetheless.